Box. So we're just going to be going over May's beginner box, and it is a Conehead woolly bugger with some rubber legs tied in as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and start with a base layer of thread, just wrapping from behind the cone just back to our tie-in point, which is going to be directly above the barb of the hook there. Snip off my tag thread, and then we're going to tie in our tail first. Tail is just a good piece of nice fluffy white marabou. I'm doing the white version here. You have two color versions in your box, this white one and also a black olive variation as well. And I'm going to go ahead and measure that tail to be the length of the hook shank. We'll tie that down with a few good tight turns here right at the tie-in point. And then just to kind of help build up the body of this fly, I'm going to tie this marabou down right on top of the hook shank. Okay, I'll give it a couple more just secure wraps there to get that all matted down. Bring our thread back again to our tie-in point. And I always like to add glue to any bugger that I'm tying the underbody. Just go ahead and just add glue there. Get the underside and the bottom. Again, the glue wasn't included in your box, but if you have super glue you like to use, Zap-A-Gap, anything like that would work great, just to secure that body from twisting. Okay, our next step, we're just going to add a little bit of flash to the tail. So I'm just going to use crystal flash, just pearl crystal flash. I'm going to tie 2 strands to each side of the tail. Just lock those in right at the side, and then trim them just to be the length of the tail, or the marabou tail. And then I'll repeat that on the opposite side. Okay, and then our next step, we're going to tie in our strung hackle, and I'm going to do that by preening back some of the fibers and just leaving that tip there. I'll tie that in just right here at the back of the fly. Bring my thread to my tie-in point again. And then we'll tie in our pearl chenille. Yeah, this is a nice, good, thick band of pearl crystal chenille. And I'm just going to grab that tip with my thread, anchor that right to the hook shank. Okay, so once I have my chenille tied in, I'm going to bring my thread to about, we're going to segment this with the rubber legs in 3 places. So I'm going to just kind of split this hook into thirds. So I'm going to take a band of this round barred rubber that we got. And I'm just going to lay that flat across the top of the hook shank right here. This is about the 3/4 point of the hook. I'm going to just loosely just wrap, and as I come down on the back side of the hook, I'm going to tighten. That'll kind of help keep that leg right there on top of the hook shank, and kind of keeps those legs straight out as well. Now I'm going to do a couple figure 8 wraps here where I'm crossing over that rubber leg material with each wrap. I'm going to come about the halfway point, and I'll do that again. Again, this is just more about, I just like the look of having them evenly spaced. So you can really put these wherever you want to put them. But I like to have them just kind of in thirds up the hook shank. And then our last one's going to be right here at about the 1/4 point of our hook. Same way, just going to cross wrap these, just kind of a figure 8 style around there. Now I can just leave my thread right here behind the cone. These rubber legs just move really good in the water, push water if you're fishing in the rivers. Just a really good eye catcher for a fish. Now I'm going to go ahead and bring my chenille forward and just carefully wrap that. I don't want to trap any of my rubber legs down. I'm going to come here and just wrap right in front of my first set of legs. I'm just going to fill in any dead space that I see with the chenille. And then I'm going to get right here to behind my cone. I'm gonna make sure I do a wrap or two right behind the cone. That'll help lock that cone into place. I'm gonna kind of pull tight on my chenille, do another wrap, and make sure that chenille really sinks down behind the cone. That'll help that cone to prevent from pushing back on anything. And then I'm gonna bring my thread up and around and lock that in just right behind that cone. Just trim out that excess. And now we're ready to wrap our hackle forward too. So same idea here. We're gonna spread this hackle out a little bit more though. And we're gonna just spiral wrap this up the hook shank. And again, just trying not to trap your legs. Kind of have to work with the legs a little bit, grab them and move them as this hackle comes around, and you're doing your chenille as well, so just move them out of the way. Trim out the excess there. I like to sweep everything back. Just brush everything back and just tie that down nice and tight. You'll have a little thread color there. If you wanted to, you could put some dubbing right there behind the cone. Just to kind of add a little flare there, or cover up that thread color if you want. I'm gonna go ahead and leave it just as it is, just like that. Then we can go ahead and whip finish. Trim out your excess, and then I was just like, again, just to add a little drop of glue, just right there to my thread wraps. Let that sink down in there, and you're good to go, ready to fish. So good fly to use, especially this time of year when the water's a little higher in some of these rivers to get that runoff going, especially the white. Black's really good in chocolatey water as well. So go ahead, give it a try. Let us know how you do it.